Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Giorgi Matveev. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Today, we are doing a riff breakdown where we take a really sick riff from a really sick song from a really sick band and then play it, break it down, talk about some theory, talk about the scales, talk about the chords, the harmony, things like that. See if we can dig up any juicy nuggets from the piece. And today's song, we are doing 96 Quite Bitter Beings by the band CKY. If you don't know this song, you've been living under a rock. If you were involved in rock punk skateboarding scene in like the early 2000s, you've definitely heard this song. If you've watched MTV in the early 2000s, you've heard this song. This song is huge. This song made the band what it was. And you know, it's funny too, because Aaron Marshall from the band Intervals, his band, he released an album, Shape of Color. On that album is a song called Sure Shot, and the chorus, he shared a little snippet of it on his Instagram right before he was recording it in the studio, just to kind of like share like what he's been working on. And everyone knows that riff as the CKY riff, because it's just, they've sort of like cemented this specific kind of sound. There's a specific tone and a little like weird tinge to a CKY riff, and 96 Quite Bitter Beings is just the best example of that, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. So we're gonna play through the song and then we're gonna talk about it. If you are a returning viewer and have not yet subscribed to my channel, consider doing so. That would be super, super sick. And if you are a brand new viewer, hello, welcome, and also consider subscribing to my channel. That would also be sick. Take one. All right, and there was the playthrough, the CKY riff, the quintessential CKY riff. And now you may be thinking like, hey, how come you didn't play the entire song? You only played the intro and then the verse. Well, the series is kind of just focused on the coolest riff of the song. To me, it's that one. It's everyone's, that's the riff. That's not even debatable. That's the riff. So the intro section, actually a little interesting with what's going on here. We have three sections, sort of, right? We have the main part, the main diddle, and that part's like an E minor thing, right? So this part of the song is in like the key of E minor, G major. So we have, right, E minor going to like the C major sus9 thing. And then we have, you know, you can think about it like a continuation of the C major thing, or it can be like a G major thing, because we have this, right? We have this just like B, A, G thing, but then we're kind of going back and forth between G to B, that major third interval, right? So maybe it's like an E minor to C to G, which kind of like you hear it. Right? You hear the sauce, right? This is that thing, right? So just to kind of reiterate everything, we have E minor, C major, G major. And then we're going back there. that's really pretty straightforward. That's what's going on in the intro. And then we get into the verse. And the verse, things get a little interesting because we're kind of vamping on these two chords. We have just like an E power chord, E5 chord, whatever you want to call it. Right? Just playing like the open E string with the 7th fret on the 5th string and then the 9th fret on the 4th string. Right? So just think of that. And then we go down to the C sharp power chord from the 4th fret, 5th string, 6th fret, 4th string. And then right here it's like C sharp and G sharp, and you're kind of like, whoa, hold on there. What's going on? Why? What's up with that C sharp thing? Why is that there, and why does that work? Well, the reason it works is because there's a sneaky little modulation thing happening here where the song is kind of like in this G major, E minor thing, and then it kind of modulates to A major here. I don't know if it really does, but that's how I'm kind of thinking about it. Theory is not the final picture. Theory is just a way to help you weave in and out of the whatever you're listening to, and it's a way for you to kind of make sense of it and then utilize it in a way to make art with it, make music with it. It's just to help guide you. So for me, I'm thinking about this like, okay, modulated, now we're in A major. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Why can you do that? Because A major is right next to G major, right? And so when modulating to a whole step up or down, it's a real easy transition because the sound isn't so jarring, right? When we're modulating from one key and then we go up a whole step to another key. I mean, bands do this all the time when you're hearing a chorus and then you hear the chorus again and everything sounds higher. It's because they changed keys and they usually went up a whole step or like a minor third or something like that. It happens all the time. So in this instance, for the verse, to me, it's like, okay, we're going from, yeah, it goes from like this E minor thing, G major thing to A. Okay, so G major to A major, that's kind of the vibe. And so for me, that's really what's going on in the verse. It's just like, we're just playing like, you can think of the E as being the 5 in the key of A, right? And then the C sharp is the 3rd in the key of A. And so when you think about it like that, if you want to throw your jazz cap on, you can be like, well, it sounds like this is a secondary dominant where we're in the key of G, and then we throw in a secondary dominant, the 2 of 5, which would be E, because A is the 2 in G, E is the 5, 2 of 5, that's a whole other thing. You don't need to know that. It's just fun to flex that, okay? And I have to make this kind of fun for us, right? So that's really all that's going on there. And it's really simple. Right? That's what makes it fun, because it opens up this portal. Okay, this is where the theory comes into play as far as how it can help guide you and help you become a little bit more creative. It doesn't take away creativity, it enhances creativity, because now you have all these different routes to go down. So when you're vamping and improvising over, you know, these two chords, you have options. What do you want to do? You can think of E minor, right, when we're playing here, and you can be like, okay, we're gonna like improv something around E minor. And then when we go to C sharp, it's like, okay, we'll just think of that as C sharp Phrygian, I guess, if we're gonna kind of move it to the key of A, right? So then you got this, something like that. With all of these options to think of, it can be a little overwhelming at times, but you just gotta find something and stick with it. The best go-to thing is minor pentatonic, right? Figure out the key that whatever chord structure you're in, whatever it's vamping on, figure out the key and then find the 6th, the minor chord, and then just vamp minor pentatonic. That's money, right? So in this instance, if we're vamping over E and C sharp and we're thinking it's in the key of A, the 6 would be F sharp, which means if we're vamping on these two chords, let's just play F sharp minor pentatonic. Don't think about it so much. So then you'd be playing up here, or up here, or down here. right? Somewhere in between there. And that's exactly what the next part of this video is. Me playing the intro riff, and then we're doing like 16 bars vamping between these two chords. And I'm just doing a very poorly done improv over F sharp minor pentatonic, just to kind of show you how tasty you can make something like this. So check it out. F sharp minor pentatonic, take 1. Well, there it was. Not the best solo ever, but you know, it's a good way to just kind of get the creative juices flowing, playing around with ideas in there. So once you get used to playing the F sharp minor pentatonic, you know, maybe after a while you're like, oh, this gets a little dull, a little boring. It's the same kind of vibe. It's the same sauce. I want a different sauce. I want something zesty, spicy. I'm tired of this vanilla or this mayonnaise, right? I want something with a little bit more bite to it, right? Then we can open things up, right? So again, if we're thinking about this as an A major, the vamp between the E and the C sharp, and you're kind of overplaying the F sharp minor pentatonic thing, we can now open up the floodgates and do A major, the entire scale, the entire key of A major. Like that, and then everything else in between. And then you open it up and you can just do whatever you want. And that could be good, that could be bad. Sometimes it's good to restrict yourself to give yourself a parameter of like 5 notes to use. 5 seems to be the sweet spot. But if you're bold enough to kind of expand into this new territory, it can be daunting, it can be scary. I'm still not good at it. I'm obviously still not good at it. I'm not claiming to be good, but it's very rewarding when you can kind of put pieces together and you can start having phrases that just start lining up all over the fretboard. And it's just fun. And that's really what it comes down to. I know this video kind of took a weird turn because I'm supposed to break down the riff and then talk about it, but I wanted to throw in this extra segment where we just take a chord progression from the riff that is sick that we break down and then vamp over it, talk over it, improv over it. Maybe it's something I'm going to add to this series. I don't know exactly what I'm doing with it, but this is sort of where it led me. You can either go nuts with the F sharp minor pentatonic thing, or you can play something in A major, or you could split the two up and do, when we're in E, you do like an E mixolydian thing. When we hit C sharp, You can do C sharp Phrygian. But here's the other thing. You can, if you're really good and you can tie things together, I mean, that's the beauty of like these basic power chords. The information, there's not a lot. It's just the root and the 5. So you can literally make it whatever you want. You can make this E Lydian and then this C sharp Lydian if you wanted to. I should have done a backing track explaining that, but I didn't. So I don't know, but you probably could, maybe. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's a riff you'd like to see me break down. I'll be happy to check it out. If I think it's sick, if it's not too hard, I'll probably do it. So thank you guys so much. Take care. Done, shot. We're using that one.